and most of the time it's your press releases and your financials, right? So what happened in Satam is because they did an IPO and they convinced their investors to invest, and he gave some financial projections for his IPO, he actually had to constantly start creating numbers, and because of that, he forgot about the business, but rather he was building just the company of financial numbers, right? So, and I think he also forgot his targets. Now, relating to the MOL business, as many of you know, I started MOL in the year 2000. I listed the company in the year 2003, and I privatized the company this year. You see, when I started the company, I did the same thing. I had my business plan and my financial numbers, and by the end of the first year, I was supposed to be break-even. Second year, I was supposed to make a bit of money. Third year, I was supposed to make 3 million. Based on that, we did the IPO, right? And of course, you know, when you start a business, half the time your targets are not met. And similarly, I myself did not meet my targets. So what I had to do, the original business of the company was the MOL cybercafes business model. So this cybercafe business model is where we wanted to give away our cybercafe management system for free. In return, we get the first page on the screens of all these cybercafes, and then we would then actually get advertising. However, that was at the time the .com bubble burst, and we were not able to get advertising. So we changed our business model to payment systems, collecting cash for online transactions, and we rolled out the MOL points micro-payment system. And we slowly scaled down. I think from 20 people focusing on the cybercafe software, we scaled it down to 5. And slowly, it practically just died down. Our points model did well, and because of that, we managed to do an IPO. However, I would say that about 2 years ago, when the internet company actually came to talk to us, a big internet company, starting with the letter Y, actually came to talk to us to buy the company, what they were most interested in was that cybercafe software. Yes, they were interested in what we were doing at that time, but they would have valued us a lot more if I actually stick to my original business model, which I did not do because I focused on the short-term component of making money. So I guess the thing that I would like to say is always focus on your business model. Don't change it. You can change it to make it better, but you must always remember what you started off with and what your plans are, even if the financial numbers don't meet in the short term, because 90% of the time, the financial numbers are not going to meet in the short term. The second mistake I made was, after I IPO'd the company when I was 23, we committed, I think in our profit projections, we committed something like 3 million of profit. However, we could not meet those numbers just based on the MOL points business model. So I had to sell country rights to licensees basically. So I think we collected about 3-4 million ringgit by selling country rights of the MOL business model to about 5-6 countries. What happened next was the operators in those countries couldn't operate it well. It didn't roll out well, right? Although I collected the cash up front. And again, when the internet company, the big internet company actually came to see us, they said, you're only in Malaysia and your international operations have not been doing that well, right? So that was the second mistake that I actually made. This is where I sold the business to actually make my company look good. So we should always focus on building business, not just building companies. So what we had to do then was we actually had to privatize, we didn't have to privatize the company, but we privatized the company because we felt it would actually be better if we took it private and then build the company. One of my biggest achievements in my life was IPOing my company at the age of 23 and becoming the youngest CEO of a public listed company in Malaysia. Last year I had to make a decision to actually privatize the company, like taking back your achievements. But we did it. And since privatizing the company, we grew the company, we took back the original licenses, and from a turnover, at that time when we were listed, we were doing a turnover of something like 30 million ringgit. Today, 1.5 years after listing, my last year turnover was 250 million ringgit. span of 1 year, from just 15,000 channels in Malaysia, payment channels in Malaysia, today we have over 540,000 payment channels across 75 countries. So what I've learned and what I'd like to share is always focus on building the business. When I was running a listed company, I was focusing on building the company. I get it. Right. So, coming. Give me 2 more minutes. Okay. I was focused on building the company, not the business. But after privatizing it, in 1 year, I managed to do a lot more than what I did in the past 6 years. So I guess that's what I'd like to share with you. I'd like to end today, since this is going to be my last time speaking in Youth 08, Youth 09, Youth Convention. I'd like to end today by sharing a saying from Steve Jobs with you guys. And I think this is one of the most important sayings. If you guys go back to Steve Jobs' speech, you guys can see where it came from. And the saying is, stay hungry, stay foolish, build businesses for the future. Thank you.